Hi everyone, I am Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading, and today I am doing a These Books Will Self-Destruct in a Year video. A year from the date this video goes up, if I have not read these 10 books, I am going to just unhaul them unread. There are various reasons why these books have made this list, and I will explain that as I go through. I'm sure that a lot of them are great books, but either they've sat on my shelf for a long time, or I'm just not vibing with them any longer because they have sat on my shelf for a long time, and my reading tastes have changed a little bit. Anyway, we'll go through the exact reasoning. I picked 10 books and let's dive right in. The first book on this list is There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. This is like a YA thriller slasher in my understanding of it. This is an ARC copy that I got at a thrift store for free a long time ago when they were giving out ARCs that they had with purchase. And I tried to read it once. I think I read the first like 2 chapters and just couldn't sink into it. At the time, I just put it back down because I think it was the timing really, not necessarily the book, but it makes me not want to pick it back up again. However, I think I might like it. I've heard good things about it. So I did want to put it on this list because I would like to try to read it and actually give it a solid try versus the first 2 chapters. So this one is the first book on my list. The next book on this list is Unremembered by Jessica Brody. This is a YA, again, kind of thriller action situation. It follows a girl who's been in a plane crash and she has no memory and she doesn't know who she is or what's happened to her. And there seems to be some sort of threat that she needs to be running from. That is all that I got from the synopsis of the back of the book because it has been a long time since I bought this. And it is YA, and I don't read a lot of YA that isn't fantasy. It's really the only YA genre I still read is fantasy. So this has been sitting on my shelf for a while, and I just don't know if it's still something that I'm interested in reading. But I was really excited to read it at the time. So I kind of still do want to read it. I don't know. That's why it's on this list. This next book I was actually really excited about when I got it, and it is I Know Who You Are by Alice Feeney. And then I have heard from so many of my booktube friends that they hated this book, like 2 stars or DNF'd this book. So that made me very hesitant to pick it up because no one that I know has liked this. I don't tend to listen to reviews. I like to have my own opinion on books. So I would like to give this a try, but that has made me avoid picking it up. The next book on this list is, again, for kind of similar reasons of the first one, is after I hauled it, the reviews were not good from everybody that I know, and that was The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. I loved The Silent Patient, and I was very excited to pick up the second book by the author. So I got it right away, did not read it right away. Kind of wish I had because now I've heard some not great things and it's not making me want to pick it up. So hopefully putting this book in this video will give me a time limit of a year to force me to pick this up and read it. The next book I'm going to add is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. This book I got because it was very popular when it first came out, but it has been sitting on my shelf since. It's been sitting on my shelf for a really long time. I don't read a lot of contemporary. I do read some, and I tend to be about 50-50 of whether I enjoy it or not. I think I enjoy certain styles of contemporary. I haven't really figured out what I like and what I don't like yet because I just don't pick up a lot of it. So the contemporary I do own has a tendency to sit on my shelf for a while, just because it's not what I'm reaching for when I'm going to look for books. I tend to reach for more fantasy and thrillers and even a little bit of mystery, just not as often my contemporary books. So I'm hoping that a time limit will force me to pick this up. The next two books I'm going to talk about together because I honestly don't have a reason for adding these to my list, except that for some reason I am not picking these books up. They both sound interesting to me, but they have both been sitting on my shelves for years. Why am I not picking them up? I honestly don't know. Obviously, they're not speaking to me and calling to me off my shelves to pick them up, but I want to. When I read the synopsises, they sound interesting. I'm just, for some reason, not being drawn to actually start reading them. So I figured I would add them to here, and hopefully that would force me to get on them within the next year. And that is The Cult on Fog Island by Marinette Lindstein. This is like a mysterious island that has a cult where you can't bring your phones and you're locked behind a gate. It sounds really interesting. I'm wondering if I'm not picking it up because it is so chunky. I don't know why I haven't picked this up, but hopefully this will get me to do so. The other book that also falls into the category of why has it been on my shelf for so long? I don't know why I'm not picking it up, but maybe this will force me to do so, is Something in the Water by Catherine Steadman. This is like a thriller horror situation. I think it's more thriller than horror though, so I don't know why I haven't picked it up. Maybe because it does have a horror element and I'm a little bit intimidated. I don't know, but I love thrillers, so why have I not read this? The next book I got is A Blind Date with a Book that I got from my local bookstore, and I just never heard of it. It's called Amber and Dusk by Lyra Celine. It is book 1 in I think a 2 or 3 book series when I looked it up, but it's not something I'd ever heard of. It is an Owl Crate copy and it is signed, which is kind of nice. Like, it's a nice copy of this book, but the synopsis isn't really speaking to me that much. However, it might be something that I'm interested in. I'm kind of right on the bubble of am I interested, am I not? So I'll give myself a year. If I haven't read it in a year, I'm going to unhaul it and just call it a day. The next book on this list is The Husband's Secret by Liane Moriarty. And that is because I read Big Little Lies this year. An unpopular opinion, I didn't really like Big Little Lies. It wasn't my kind of thriller. I just didn't enjoy it. So I want to give Liane Moriarty another try though. And this is another book on my shelves that she has written. But I'm hesitant to pick up a Liane Moriarty book just because I didn't enjoy the first one. And Big Little Lies is so popular and this one is not as popular. So if I didn't like her most popular book, am I gonna enjoy the one that's not as popular? Who knows? The last book going on this Books Will Self-Destruct list in 12 months is The Time Traveler's Wife. This came up in my chance rolls for Bookopoly, and it was put into my chance cards as one of the ones that I'm not as excited about. I don't know why this book is not speaking to me. It was given to me by a friend, and she thought I would really enjoy it, so I do want to try it. But it's been sitting on my shelf for a very long time, and it just isn't speaking to me, and I don't know why I'm hesitant to pick it up. I thought Bookopoly would maybe force me to do it, it being a part of my chance rolls. I think there was only 2 books for Bookopoly I didn't do, and this was one of them. I'm gonna give it one more try, putting it on this list, and if I don't get to it in a year, I'm just going to give up. So that is the 10 books that I am going to try to read in the next year, or I will unhaul them unread. Are there any books in this stack that you loved? Please let me know in the comments, because if I hear some excitement about them, maybe that will make me more excited to give them a try and actually pick them up off my shelves in the next 12 months. Or which ones would you like to see me read? And maybe I'll do a dedicated reading vlog of reading some of these books that I'm a little bit unsure of. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.